What is up YouTube? My name is Liza and I'm going to share my thoughts on the new Journey to Un'Goro creator cards that got revealed last 24 hours. So let's dive straight back in. We'll start at the normal rarity cards and then we'll go to rare cards and we'll close the video off with 2 legendaries. So pretty stoked. Let's dive straight in. So the first one is the Thunder Lizard. 3 mana, 3/3 beast, which is actually kind of cool because the battle cry requires you to obviously play an elemental to adapt. So this kind of mixes up the beast and elemental tribes. So I'm really curious if we're going to see those synergies in like hunter or druid decks, or maybe even in warrior. You know, so pretty interesting. Obviously, it's a 3 mana 3/3, so it's not like it doesn't have amazing stats, but you can adapt it to be a 4/4 or a 6/3 or a 3/6. So chances are you'll get pretty good value out of this. There is of course a really big or random effect to it. It's a lot of RNG. You need to get the proper adapt for the situation, and sometimes you just won't get it. Sometimes you only have stuff you can't really use that well. But yeah, you get a pick out of 3. So that should be pretty decent. It should. I think this card isn't like super OP or anything, but will be just pretty staple in any elemental deck, just to have some early game, especially in a class that also uses the beast synergy. So definitely keep an eye on that. So talking about beast, let's move on to the Crackling Razor Maw. So this guy is a 2-drop. And the battle cry is adapt a friendly beast, and unlike the Thunder Lizard, this is just a battle cry. You don't need to play a beast the turn before or an elemental the turn before. Battle cry will always trigger. And also very important to note, this is like a 2 mana 3/2. So even if you don't get to adapt a friendly beast, it's still a 3/2 for 2. That's pretty decent. I mean, King Alec has the same stats. And she's plays as well, so that's obviously pretty good as beast synergy, so that's pretty nice. I think we're going to see this card a lot in mid-range hunter decks. And so let's move on to the first, the rare, the Raptor Hatchling. That rattle, shuffle a 4/3 Raptor into your deck, and well, this card is obviously not very strong on turn 1, but the Raptor, which I'll show you right here, is actually a 4 attack 3 health 1 mana card. So let it sink in. That's pretty amazing. If you got like 2 Raptor Hatchlings and 2 Fireflies in your deck, that's like then you run 4 4-drops, and those will produce another 4 4-drops. So with those 4 alone, you could theoretically, oh, wording is hard, complete the hunter quest. So that's really kind of cool. Obviously this card is really slow and it doesn't contest the board that well, dies to a lot of collateral damage, dies to a lot of pings, a lot of hero powers, pretty much anything. So but you'll probably want to run this when you're trying to complete the quest, so that's really cool to have another early drop in order to get that done. So the Light Fused Stegodon. It's actually kind of cool that Blizzard is showing what direction they're going with Paladin, if you ask me. So I really like the team. Adapt your Silver Hand recruits. Could be decent, could be really bad. Remember that Silver Hand recruits only have 1 attack, 1 health, so they will obviously they'll stay small minions. Maybe you can turn them into 2/2s. Maybe you can turn them into 4/1s or in 1/4s. But you get to adapt a lot of them. So yeah, it has potential. I'm not sure if it will be just as strong as Muster for Battle back in the days, and all those kind of synergies. But yeah, I think this will be a card to keep an eye on, because I really suspect Blizzard to release more Paladin cards that have some kind of synergy with Silver Hand recruits. So keep an eye on that. So let's move on to the Terror Scale Stalker. Excuse me for the quality for this picture, I couldn't get a better one. This is basically a mini Hooran but worse. Hooran, Princess Hooran is a 5 mana 6/5 and it has a beast deck. That's a lot better than a 3 mana 3/3 without a beast deck. The problem with Princess Hooran is that there aren't that many great death rattles to be triggered in standard. Meaning wild you have like Sludge Belchers, which is probably not even the best example, but Sylvanas comes to mind, stuff like that. Just all really cool synergies, but not so much in standard, and it gets run in some kind of Nazat death rattle decks. But the problem is the only death rattles you reliably get off as a hunter are like Rat Pack and Timberwolf, or not Timberwolf, the well, the Infested Wolf, that's what I meant. Or maybe a Kindly Grandmother. Kindly Grandmother is actually kind of cool because it gives a lot of stats on the board, but just those three. And yeah, then you have this. Yeah, if you don't get a Buttercry, if you don't have another minion on the board with the Death Rattle effect you can proc, this is really bad because just compare it to the Crackling Razor Maul. That's 2 mana 3/2. And the Battlecry always goes off, and this Battlecry needs you to have some presence on the board already, so it's pretty conditional, and it doesn't have a B stack, and it's kinda meh, so I'm not too sure about this one, but hey, we haven't seen anything yet, and anything can happen, so. But let's move on to the first legendary we're going to talk about, King Mosh. It's a warrior class card, and it's actually pretty cool. I think a lot of control warriors are going to love this. Do note that this costs 9 mana, so it's kind of hard to play another card like an AoE in the same turn, especially since Emperor Thaurissan is rotating out. But especially in WoW, this card will be pretty cool with what's it called? Death's Bite. That will totally clear the board. So that's pretty cool. It will probably destroy. No, it won't destroy itself. No, it won't happen because first you damage everything and then you play this, obviously. I think control warriors are going to like this card a lot, but yeah, I think it will take some time to tinker and to figure out what could be activators to destroy everything. Like an acid maul would actually. It's kind of an acid maul, I guess. The last legendary we are going to talk about, Hammett, Jungle Hunter. It's obviously an Hammett Nessenwary reference, which is kind of nice. But this guy is really special, really something we haven't seen on any other cards. So its stats are decent, not very good. It's basically a worse Boulder First Ogre. But this Battlecry is really unique, and this card will probably take a while to be fully utilized, but when people figure stuff out to do with this card, it will be pretty cool. I'm obviously a passionate hunter player, so imagine you play this in mid-range hunter and you curve out, and you play this on turn 6. You will only draw 4 drops and up. I mean, maybe an Infested Wolf if you are even running them, but I think you'll likely only be running Houndmasters, and you will draw your Savannah High mains, and you will draw your not your kill commands, but your Call of the Wilds and some finishers. So that will be really interesting in mid-range deck. I don't think control decks are too fond of this card, because control decks typically run a lot of reactional cards in order to control the board, and you typically don't want to destroy them. Aggro, however, might want to run this. Just imagine an aggro deck that really pushes face damage in the first 4 or 5 turns of the game. Then you play this on turn 6, and all of a sudden you're guaranteed to draw. Like, just imagine a deck with all 3 drops, discard, and 2 finishers, like a Ragnaros, and I don't know, maybe something else like Call of the Wild or an Azot or whatever. You can you can be pretty creative with this, and you can basically guarantee that you pull certain cards after you play this. So I think this will take a while for the community to figure out how to best utilize this card, but once this card gets rolling, I think we're going to see really cool and unique decks. And when you think about it, it's kind of funny that we got a few mechanics that add a lot of cards into your decks, like the Hunter Quest, like the Jade Idols. This card basically does the opposite, so I'm really curious if we're going to see any more of these type of cards. And I'm even more excited to see what the community can brew, what kind of decks they can make to utilize this effect. So, well, that was it, guys, for this time. We're going to see a lot more reviews, so definitely subscribe to check those out. I'll share my thoughts on every card that gets released, and of course I'll show you my decks once Journey to Un'Goro Creator hits live. Leave a like if you liked the video, dislike it if you didn't like it, obviously. Just tell me why. If you didn't like the video, tell me why you didn't like the video. So let's get that conversation going. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you guys next time.